Guys, how are you? I'm recording this at an off time because today's actually Thursday and I usually record in the mornings. But I did not have time this morning, which happens sometimes, so I put these out on Fridays. Well, in those cases, I will usually just record Friday morning. But I've got some other things going on tomorrow morning, so I thought, why don't I just squeeze this in Thursday afternoon if I have time? And I do, obviously. And so everything feels kind of all off. So you're still going to be getting this Friday. So happy Feast of the Sacred Heart, because that's going to be what June 3rd is when you actually receive this. So yay. But it's Thursday afternoon here. And so I feel like all out of sorts. And it's a week in which we had a Monday holiday off from work. So all week I have felt all strange and out of sorts because you're not really sure fully what day it is sometimes. And so it's one of those weird little weeks. And so here I am recording in the afternoon, which I never usually do. And by the time the afternoon comes around, on a day like today, which is to say that it's very humid here today, my hair looks like I have stuck my finger in an electrical outlet. But I will say this, my webcam is not perfect. It does some things that I really wish it didn't do, like it focuses and it, I think, makes it like look, it just did it. It just makes it look weird if you're watching the video sometimes, and it sometimes does that thing where the color kind of blinks in and out. But it hides a multitude of hair sins. And so I'm looking at my hair on the camera and it looks normal. I say this webcam is a keeper. I was just in the ladies' room and I looked in the mirror and saw my hair and it looked terrible, but it doesn't look so bad on the camera. So I call that a win. I don't know about you. So here we are together celebrating the Feast of the Sacred Heart. So the novena has finished up and my Sacred Heart chaplet is on its way to me via the United States Postal Service. I should have it in my hot little hands. In fact, I should go track it. I would think maybe tomorrow I would get it. And so what I'm going to do is that the novena is complete, but the entire month of June is devoted to the Sacred Heart, and I've really enjoyed praying for my intention during the novena. So when I get the chaplet, I'm just going to pray another 9 days worth of prayers for this intention to the Sacred Heart using the specific chaplet prayers from that Sacred Heart book that I always forget the name of. I believe it is just simply called The Devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. I know I've linked to it in the past, but I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes again. So the chaplet prayers come from that book, and I'm going to use those and my lovely new beads, and I'm excited about that. So, just in case you were wondering what my prayer plans were coming up, as if you found that all just so absolutely scintillating. So that's what's going on with me in terms of like Catholic stuff, I guess. But this is one of those weeks. So like I mentioned, we had this Monday holiday, and so the week just feels kind of bleh. You go back to work and it's like you really don't want to be here. I had a really nice holiday weekend with my family and with Christina and her family, whom I consider family. So it's one big family reunion over the weekend, and it was just glorious. And so, I've been a little, I think to say down in the dumps is a little too strong, I guess. But I've been feeling a touch of melancholy all week. It's really hard to adjust after a trip like that you're really looking forward to, and you see somebody that you love very much and whom you're not able to see all the time. It's just hard, it just gets you a little down. So we'll definitely be seeing them again, but probably not until next year. So I'm going to tear up again now thinking about it. It's hard, It is a wonderful thing to form these friendships that we're now able to connect with people that you would have otherwise maybe never met in the past before the days of social media. But you don't get to see each other in person as much as you'd like. And when you have that wonderful connection in person, it's harder and harder and harder to be separated from those people by distance. So, so I've been dealing with that this week, feeling a little sad, but we just had a magnificent time. We did record a short, I almost forgot about that. That's something else I have to edit and do. Hopefully hopefully very in the next day or so, that we're going to put out as part of the Planned Not Scripted podcast that we do together. After we had dinner together on Saturday night, we recorded I think it was between 20 and 25 minutes. Just us talking in the car on the way back from dinner. We were both really tired because, you know, we go to bed early. Like we're of the population that goes, we don't like pull all-nighters or even stay up until midnight anymore. So we're tired by 9:30, 10 o'clock. So the time we finished dinner and we lingered over our wonderful meal and drinks and we took a walk, we were both pretty beat, but we, just had a really sort of contemplative and lovely conversation in the car. So I will try to pull that up and do the necessary audio editing. So I'll get to that. And it's going to make me sad, I'm sure, to go back and listen to it, but I will. And so we went out to dinner on Saturday night, and it was just the two of us. We did family time the rest of the time. And so we went to a martini bar here in my hometown, and we had just the most delicious drinks you could. It's really, I think, a little bit disingenuous to call these martinis. We all agreed that a martini nowadays is pretty much our alcohol mixed in a martini glass because they don't bear any resemblance to a traditional martini. So she had something called, it was like a cucumber lemonade, and it had this spear of cucumber that you could eat at the end that I'm sure was absolutely fantastic since it was infused with the drink. And I had something called an oatmeal cookie. I can't even describe to you how delicious this is. And it has the craziest ingredients in it that include Jägermeister and Goldschlager. But it tastes like an oatmeal cookie. It's so delicious. I think Bailey's is involved. Anything that is good in this world has Bailey's involved in it. So we enjoyed those at the bar, and then we went to a table and we just shared this spectacular platter of toasted bread and olive tapenade, all these different spreads, and a whole roasted garlic in the center. Oh my gosh. And so we had another drink and ate that, and we split a dessert and had a dessert martini at the end that this bartender who was new to the martini bar, whose name is Karen. I'm sure she's not watching this, but Karen, we absolutely loved meeting Karen. She's new to this area, but was an experienced bartender, and she was telling us about this espresso martini, and she made one for us because we asked her. It wasn't on their menu, but at the previous bar that she worked at, she had made one, and so we asked her. She made one for us. It was spectacular. It was just one of those evenings where everything is just jiving in the best possible way. And so we took a little walk after dinner to, walk off some of the food that we had eaten. And it was just such a pleasant, it was so freaking hot and humid here this weekend. So it was still warm Saturday evening, but it felt so much better as compared to the rest of the day, which was 90 degrees plus Fahrenheit. And it's just one of those experiences where you have mixed emotions because you want to be able to do that all the time with your best friend. You want to be able to have dinner like that every month at least. And it's hard because we can only do that once a year. But you have to really try to look at the good, I suppose. And I'm just so grateful that I don't want to get teary, but I'm very grateful that I met Christina and that God created this friendship for us because it is a huge blessing. And so the rest of our families loved each other. The husbands got along great. The kids all liked each other. And so my kids have been kind of mopey because they miss Christina's kids and they want to call and all that, which we're going to do for sure. So I'm sure lots more video calls coming up. And, so we're all just kind of transitioning back to regular life, but talking about future trips, which is wonderful. And so Mike and I have been talking about that. I'm really excited. So I'm just looking forward to the good because in life, there's good and there's challenging. And there's things that we all deal with on a day-to-day basis, whether it be at work or just stuff with our kids or things that, there are things that are not necessarily fun. And it really makes you appreciate the good things in life so much more. And this is one of the good things in life. We were just all sitting around on Sunday after Mass, the four adults, having some drinks together and some snacks, and the kids were playing together in the house, and they went outside for a long time and ran around in the sprinkler. There was just water everywhere out there. And I thought to myself, we weren't doing anything special. Our house does not have central air conditioning, so it was warm. We've got all the windows open. It was a little cooler on Sunday than it was on Saturday. But the windows are open, and we're all just enjoying each other's company. And I thought to myself, this is the good times. This is what life is all about. This is what we all go about our day-to-day work lives with, whatever that entails, whether that be in the home or out of the home, to be able to have those relaxing moments spent with the people that you love, and just talking, not doing anything else special, just enjoying the presence of the other people. And so we just had a really wonderful time. And I'm sure there's going to be future visits. And so I'm just going to look forward to those. And I'll also look forward to the online relationships that I cherish so much with Christina, as well as with all of you. And so one of the things we've been talking about this week and that I've been posting about is books. So we are all reading Church of Spies together. I picked it back up. I'm on chapter 6. I fell asleep reading it last night and my Kindle bounced to the ground, and I had to figure out where I was because it advanced me a little bit in the pages when that happened. But I am actively back in. I read it over breakfast this morning as well. So that's coming right along. I'm aiming to finish that up at the end of June. And then in July, Christina and I are starting the late summer book club. I mentioned that yesterday in my post. We're going to be reading The Summer Before the War, historical fiction, British fiction. And it's described as being Downton Abbey-esque. So if that's your thing, it's definitely mine. You may want to check this out. I will put the link in our show notes again. And so we'll be starting that in July. And so what we're going to do is that the podcast is only monthly. And so for July, August, and September, we're going to divide the book in 3. And there's a description of how we're going to divide up the chapters in the Planned and Not Scripted post I'll link to. And we'll have a segment during the podcast, probably the second part of the podcast, I would think, where we'll talk about that part of the book. And so if you'd like to read along, please, we would love to have you join us. The book, I believe, if you want to purchase it, is available. I don't know if the paperback is out yet, but I think that the hardcover edition is something around $15. The Kindle version is $11 or $13.99. But it's very likely to be available at your local library, so you can check that too, whether it be in print or e-book form. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. So I popped it on my Amazon shopping list because I'm still not finished with Church of Spies. I don't need to buy it right away. And I always check that shopping list daily because for products that you put on there, Amazon puts a little bolded notification if the price goes down. So sometimes on Kindle books in particular, that'll happen. They'll have a daily deal or something. So I'll see if it goes on special. And if it does, you'll be the first to know. So keeping my eye on that for now, but I'll probably purchase it towards the end of the month when I start reading. So that'll be, okay, so I was going to say, and then, the train, it weaves. So getting back on track. So we'll be talking about the book during our regular Planned Not Scripted episode, and those episodes always come out during the first half of any given month. So I'm going to say that for these months in particular, we're going to make an effort to make sure that the podcast comes out the second week of the month. So there'll always be another week in there, and every month that you would have to read before the podcast would come out if you're kind of following along and want to sync up with us. So it'll be so if for July, see, it would have been good if I had planned this out ahead of time, and I never think of that. So I'm just going to quickly flip right now. So for the very first installment, the second week of July is going to be, July starts on a Friday. So it could be that week after the 4th of July holiday here in the US, later that week, or the beginning of the week of July 11th, 12th. So it'll be sometime in there. So, yay. I hope that you're going to read along with us. Let me know if you're going to. But why don't you just let me know what's going on with you as we have now melded into June? What's new with your life? What your summary plans are? Your kids finished with school? Mine go until late June, so I still have plenty more time. But what's happening with you? What are you planning? What's going on? If you're planning to read along, and if you would like to pray the Sacred Heart Chaplet with me, let me know. Even if you don't have the beads, I will post a link to the prayers. Okay, so Tiffany, that's 3 things I need to remember to put in the show notes, so that you could you could maybe use rosary beads and like pre-count them out or something where you need to stop in order to pray along. Let me know if you want to do that, and we can do that together, okay? So I will talk to you all soon. Until next week, I will look forward to seeing you then. Bye.